Are we being scammed and taken advantage of by Walmart? Now, that may or may not be the case, but there is a new warning that Walmart just put out about how people are taken advantage of in their stores. We'll talk about that. Also, we're going to discuss a mega investor, a big investor, billions of dollars of an investment. You know what he said? He said, no matter what, cash is always key. Europe showed that with the blackouts. The markets are showing that now. Cash is still king. We'll talk about his investments and why he says cash is still king. Also, we're going to discuss Morgan Stanley. I mean, again, here we are talking about cash. We're talking about keeping stuff from being scammed at Walmart. How do you keep stuff from being scammed? Well, you take it off these digitized devices. Well, Morgan Stanley just came out with a new report saying that they are going to bring in the crypto to the market. We're going to offer market options for crypto. You see how this slowly happens. It just turns a little bit away from cash, goes to credit cards. That's causing problems. So now let's move to crypto. It's safer on your phone. All the while, they're programming you to be more digital. And then lastly, we're going to discuss homeschooling. How can we protect our children? There's a new program that this administration, last administration, both are pushing to have more digitized forms of programming in their kids' hands, learning AI tools so they can be ready for the next world. Well, it's time to homeschool, folks. Let's dive into these stories. This video starts right now. Life is a winding road. Hey guys, welcome to the channel today. Thank you so very much for coming and watching us daily. We had a live earlier, so make sure if you did not see the live, go back and check it out. A wonderful live. We got to do a lot of question answering and drop some pretty big news. Also, remember, we're going to be doing the giveaway at the very end of this video. We'll release the name of the person who won for April. Now let's jump into these stories. First, let's talk about Walmart and what they just warned about that's happening in their stores. They're not talking outside their stores. They're not saying they're to blame, but they're saying this is what's taking place. Walmart takes drastic action to curb growing fraud problems with self-checkout. Now, I'll be honest with you. First before we get into this, if I'm going in Walmart, I don't go to cashiers because I'll be honest with you, I cannot stand waiting in line, them taking forever. Usually they're not happy with their job, so they're slow. So typically I love self-checkout. But here's a warning for every one of y'all, and me included, that use self-checkout. Walmart is making big changes to self-checkout machines. The retailer has installed bright yellow rims around the pin pads on the machines to help with the surge of card scamming. This move comes after Walmart locations fell victim to card skimming scams. And they said millions of people could be affected. So I love the fact that they're combating this. Now the thing is this, what would solve this? Cash. Wouldn't it? I mean, I'm just being honest with you. You wouldn't have to worry about your card, wouldn't have to worry about fraudulent reports, you wouldn't have to worry about calling your fraud center and canceling your card. You wouldn't worry about someone skimming your cash. Cash would solve this. You know what's so crazy? In my Walmart in South Mississippi, there's only like 2 machines out of the 10 that's there that will actually take cash. You see how that happens though. Now we want cash. They say it's dirty, it's bad, we don't want it anymore. Let's go to cards. Cards all of a sudden getting stolen from, so we don't need that. That's dangerous too. So they talked about the little chips in the card, and that's going to do better. Well, that's getting the same issues happening to it. And then all of a sudden now they're saying, well, if you learn to use your phone. So now you're starting to see big retailers like Target, Whole Foods are using phone scanning and also your PIN. And remember, it's got your eye recognition. It has your thumbprint. It has your keypad code. That's just a passcode just for you. So it has what they call a 2-factor authenticity. Now the problem with that is this, they're programming you say, well, the credit cards are not safe, the cash is not safe, so we need to start using some kind of other digital form. So let's scan our phones because it has all your biometrics already put in there. Again, that's why we have to push against some of this narrative that sometimes digitized forms is not the best. Sometimes if we just go back to what we had with cash and coins, it actually may benefit us. Now you say, oh, but that's just too hard. I don't want to carry a wallet. What if someone steals it? That's a possibility. But to be honest with you, at least if someone is stealing from me, I can see them right in front of me. I can see the situation taking place. I can learn to carry it in my front pocket, not my back. But when they're skimming my cards, I may not know it for days, and then they may be taking tons of money off my credit card or debit card and me not know anything about it. If you remember me with gift cards not too long ago, they did the same thing. They skimmed it off there, and we lost hundreds of dollars off a gift card. Now think about how many times that's been done and how much money people has lost for Walmart to step in and actually take action. I didn't get my money back from them. I actually got it back from the credit card company because they knew this skimming situation was taking place. So therefore, that's why when I go places, cash is king. That leads me right to the next story of Mr. Mobius. Cash is king, Mark Mobius says. His funds hold 95% cash. The key question facing equities right now is whether they're going to go up, go low, crash. What's next for the market? Veteran emerging markets investor Mark Mobius joined Bloomberg and said, look, cash is king. As he watches the trade war storm, he said, I'm not putting my money in anything but pure cash. At this stage, cash is king. Right now, we've got to keep cash and get ready to move when the time is right. Now, he's not talking about having liquid cash. What he's talking about is having liquidity in the market, such as a money market fund or a CD, where he can maneuver that money back in. The whole point of him saying cash is king, though, brings up a big valid point, kind of like the Walmart situation, and also every other scamming that's going on. There's usually no scamming when it comes to dollar bills. There's not. Now, every once in a while, you may come across a counterfeit bill, but pretty much everybody understands what a counterfeit bill looks like. So my push is to go back to cash. Like in the markets, he had a good point. So I told you not too long ago with the market situation with me, because I knew the markets were going to fall out, I put back kind of during the Biden administration, I moved a lot of my funds to money markets and hedging markets, such as what we talked about with gold mining and gold, because I knew that the markets were going to eventually fall out because of the situation, either with a major problem with debt or with the tariff talk that Trump was talking about, which I think is going to be a good thing overall. But bottom line is, even in the markets, even in my wallet, I've learned that cash is always going to be king. Now, BRICS came out and they said, well, we're looking to, again, combat it. They don't have anything strong enough to combat it. Now, here's another thing, and this is where you have to be very careful, because this shows that your government and your bigger player politicians may actually be against you, along with your financial institutions. Listen to this. Just in $1.5 trillion, Morgan Stanley is to offer for a Bitcoin and crypto trading on the E-Trade platform. They're going to try to offer more crypto into the markets. Now, what they're actually doing, and what you're seeing with BlackRock, what you're seeing with State Street, what you're seeing with these kind of companies like this, is they're saying, okay, we're going to take in this new form of money, this new form of currency. There's another report by stablecoins that says that stablecoins, Tether, and other forms of digital currency will overtake the dollar because people love the convenience. So here I am, I'm pushing for cash is king because of the scamming on credit cards. I'm pushing for cash is king because the markets are falling. So I'm saying let's stay in a money market or CD and let's just kind of see what the market's going to do so I won't lose my money. I'm saying cash is king because all of a sudden you see that everybody's investing in crypto because it's easy and it puts everything in a digitized form to make it so much better for you. Did we not learn anything from what just happened with the UK when they said they could not get their funds accessed? And they were in complete and utter chaos and panic because they didn't know how long this blackout would last, and they could not access their monies, their information, and their important documents because it was all on digitized forms. And all of a sudden, America is embracing the fact of let's just take in more crypto. Let's let crypto be the new currency. Again, with a stablecoin provider, and such as Binance and Tether, and some of these other ones are saying their fists have surpassed cash, and the fact that people are wanting to hold their money in coins and in meme coins and in crypto versus actually American cash dollars. Tether's co-founder says Trump's stablecoin move could be the start of a global shift. Tokenized assets may soon rival the dollar when it comes to the role in crypto. So again, as I've told you before, I'm a Trump supporter. But I don't like this push towards crypto. I don't like this push towards meme coins. I don't like this push towards crypto as in like let's put it in the markets and let's embrace this because it's all speculative. Now people say, oh, the dollar is too. Yeah, but at the least you have something tangible to hold. And even though it's got some problems, it is still the most strong currency across the world. You know it, I know it, we all know it, even down to the fact that China can't compete with the yuan. Of course, the Japanese yen is falling to pieces. The rupees and the rubles both are falling to pieces, and they may gain value. Listen, this is what the media says. It says, look, the Swiss franc is gaining value. The ruble is gaining value against the dollar. What they're not telling you is the difference is this. Okay, say the dollar is worth $100, and say the franc is worth $5. When they say it's gaining value, it means the franc goes up to $30. Well, they're still nowhere near the dollar. Do you get what I'm saying? So when they say it's getting comparable, it's going to take it over. It's all going to be fear-mongering because the cash is still worth way more than any other currency across the world. So here's what I'm telling you. Please embrace being the parallel society. That's not crypto. That's cash. Please embrace the barterable society. You know what they said? They said the Amish farm is getting tackled by some of these governments across the world, especially places like Canada and even in the liberal governments of America. Why? Because they are parallel. They are not part of the status quo. They have a different outlook on life. Well, governments don't like that. Politicians don't like that. Same way with crypto. If crypto keeps pushing, government's going to love it because it allows them to know every transaction you're doing. They love MasterCard and Visa jumping into it. They love your retirement accounts jumping into it because every amount of money is based on your biometrics, based on your thumbprint, based on your Social Security, and based on them seeing everything that you bought this week or this month. So what if it's beef? What if it's 2A rights? What if it's self-defense? Whatever it is, they may say, well, look, one day we may have to outlaw those things because the world's getting tough. So that's why your politicians are going to embrace it, even down to the conservative ones. The only ones that are not usually pushing for it is people like the Amish and the Christian conservative who believes that it's wrong. Even your libertarians are pushing for it because they believe that this crypto is a parallel society, and they are flat wrong. And two more things I want to discuss. There's an article for lower drug prices that just came out. It says, a great deal for America. This is from Steve Cortez of Epoch Times. It says, last November, Americans sent a clear election message to deliver President Trump's clear mandate. Prices are way too high. While inflation was hit at the grocery store, up 23% since 2020. So I told you to invest in groceries because it's key. And housing costs is up 30%. Prescription drugs are up 46% since 2020. So with all the stuff that went on in 2020 and all the stuff that's going on and how your politicians are telling you they're helping you, the three things that you have, house, food, and medicine, have all went up by skyrocketing amounts. So again, this is why I tell you, don't trust these politicians because they all lie to you. But listen to what has happened. Listen to what Trump is doing. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the authority to negotiate lower prices, which is a key because they could never negotiate. They had to pay whatever the price was. At this, administration cost and cost-saving measures can be felt across the government. This program is projected to save billions of dollars with estimated $1.5 billion in savings for seniors. So now Trump's negotiating with states. States are able to negotiate better prices from Canada. And also, this new bill will allow for negotiations for Medicaid, Medicare services to lower the drug price, which will, of course, help taxpayers for sure because they're the ones fronting the bill for our seniors. But not only that, it will help lower the cost of private insured pharmaceuticals because now it's making the plateau go lower. They said if they did not, Trump also warned that if these pharmaceutical companies would not play ball, he would cause more problems for them. And he said the tariffs are just the first step. So I'm hoping that we actually start seeing lower drug prices. Again, not that I want you on pharmaceuticals, but if your life depends on it or you're on it for some reason, then if we can save some money there, that'd be great. But let's go back to the underlying problem here. It's not just pharmaceuticals, groceries, homes. Those things are still up. Now they're going down a little bit. Gas has definitely went down under Trump. But bottom line is, what have we been told by our politicians for the last 60 years? That they're doing policies to help you. What has helped us since really 2020, other than our prices going up? Did you hear that? 30% up on house cost, 24% up on grocery costs, 46% up on pharmaceutical costs. That's not counting insurance, up 32%. Because of wildfires and all this other stuff that's going on that they say that's why they got to keep on going up. We have to get help from not only the White House but from Congress to lower these prices. And what that means is quit spending our money give us back our tax dollars so you're not, I mean, look, for instance, Trump's new tax plan, guess what? Senate and Congress are not going to vote on it until July 4th, which is literally coming up on a weekend, on a holiday, so that way they don't have to deal with it. So they're already setting up for probably a bad bill anyway. But instead of helping Americans right now, they're going to push it off for another, what, 2 months, 2.5 months? They just took a 2-week vacation. They come back, and instead of actually hitting a new tax bill, to not go to the deadline, not to make it like a shutdown, not to try to negotiate, just say this is what we're going to pass, because we have both the Republican House and the Republican Senate and Republican President. No, they're not going to give you that tax break yet. We want to make sure that we'll just push it off to make it a negotiation point, so we have to give the Democrats something or give the rhino something. That's what always happens. So we have to, this is good news that we're getting lower drug costs, but this is just one tiny, tiny step of an uphill battle that we need to face, and Congress should be the ones helping us, and they're not the ones representing. We elect them to represent you. And have they truly done that? No. The last story I want to talk about was a story that just came out that President Trump also issued an executive order, and this was also an executive order pushed by Biden at one time too, and also the Congress. I mean, this is all something that everybody's embracing with AI. There are several states, along with executive order, that is wanting to learn to use AI better and wanting to have more digital forms of learning in school systems, in public education, because they believe that is the way of the future and that's what they should learn. People should understand that they need to know how AI works so they can be ready for the world. Here's my pitch. I'm fully against this. You know what? We live in the most, Gen Z and even millennials, so millennials like me and Gen Z are the two most depressed, over-medicated groups of individuals. And they said it wasn't just because of digital forms, it was because of social media and the pressure of screens, of our whole life lived on screens. Right now, the average American is watching a screen 8 to 12 hours a day. Oh my gosh. And they said the screens, if kids start off on screens at a young age, it will cause them eye problems and brain cognitive problems over time as they get older. And now we see not only Biden's administration, but Trump's administration, and also very, very much so, several states, even conservative states, pushing that they need to have more opportunity to buy laptops, iPads, and have more digitized forms of learning in front of the kids, because they need to know how AI works, how technology works, so they'll be ready. You know the less stressed and depressed people in America right now? Amish. You know who the second set of less stressed Americans are? The homeschooled family. Here's my push to you. First, get out of the liberal states, because homeschooling is going to become a problem for you the more you're there. Here's my issue. What they're saying is they're going to start getting rid of a lot of teachers, and even Bill Gates came out and said this, that we are not going to need teachers as much because of AI capabilities. If all of a sudden students are learning based on personalized AI platforms and personalized digitized content, then they're losing the touch and the personal interaction with teachers and with students and with siblings and with parents and whatever else, because you're allowing them to have a phone or a digitized social media or an iPad or a laptop in their hands at all times. If you look at the studies, most people are less genuine. They're more stressed, more depressed since we took in this technological world. Now, we say we love convenience, and look, I'm speaking to you on a device right now. So for this 15 or 20 minutes, we'll allow you to be on the device. But in all seriousness, if we live our life on devices, then we're going to set ourselves up for more problems. Now, there's some places in the states that are now saying, look, even home education and private learning, we want to help fund you to get AI in your hands and iPads in your hands. Please don't do that. Now, my kids, there's parts of their studies that's books, and there's parts of the stuff that's on video, because that's the only way they teach it now. But we have told them, get done with that, let's get outside. If you watch a lot of our videos, you'll see our children are always outside playing. That's why we built the activity court. That's why we make chalk designs outside. That's why we have this big old swing set. That's why we love to teach them gardening, and we love to teach them to be on the farm and have fun with the sheep and have fun with the animals, the pigs, the rabbits, whatever it may be. Because we want them to understand what real life is. not AI, digitized life. If we allow this to take place, all I can say is this. First, get out of the states that's telling you can't homeschool. Secondly, homeschool your children. Homeschool your grandchildren. If you cannot financially afford it, which I believe, again, as a godly person who believes if we're good stewards, God will bless it. If we're tithing and we're serving and we're trying to raise our children right, and we start cutting our lifestyle back, God will help us and we'll be okay. Just being honest, I'm throwing that spiritual nugget out there. Because me and Misty were in that point where she had to leave a nursing job making really good money to come home to homeschool our children. Best decision we ever made, and all of a sudden other things started happening to where we were okay. So I encourage you to homeschool. If you can't though, build a co-op. What did we tell you? Learn from the Amish. I mean, we keep bringing them up, but they kind of have it together. They live in communities and they all school together. There's churches all around, especially a good godly Christian church. There's a lot of churches that are coming around and starting to build co-ops, little private homeschool academies to where they can teach 10, 15, 20, 30 kids. That's what we need. Find a retired teacher who can come in and teach your kids. We have a tutor. I mean, for instance, so Misty and I, we went through school, but there were some teachers that were kind of retiring at that point, and we built great relationships with them. They were parts of the community for a long time. Well, there's things like trigonometry or calculus and pre-al and algebra 2 and English lit and things like that I may not know as much anymore because, to be honest with you, like we always talk about, you don't use any of that in the real world. But for school, you have to. So guess what we've done? We've reached out to trusted sources to help us. Instead of going on this digitized platform and letting them watch it, we bring those teachers in, let them tutor for the hour, and it works out perfect. Learn to find ways to be innovative to get away from the craziness in the world. Break apart from the world. Be the guy who has cash. Break apart from the world. Be the guy who homeschools their children. Break apart from the world. Be the person who raises their own food. Break apart from the world and be a godly influence in your family. Go to church. Raise your family in a way that they understand to be good stewards with their money. You don't always have to have everything that everybody else has. Understand wants and needs. You see how that changes? We become weird then. And all we're trying to do is just say, you know what? We just want to be different. And that difference is actually going back to normal life before all the technology. Go look at the studies. Kids now are more depressed, more anxious, over endorphin push, all because of screen time and social media. Use it, enjoy it, understand that there's benefits to it, but put it away. That we do not need our government stepping in and pushing more of this on our children. Because if this is how they learn from now on, what are you going to say? You either got to pull your kids out or just grin and bear it. All right, guys, that leaves all the stories for the day. Remember, check out our live from earlier. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something out of it. What I really wanted you to find out, though, is we can be different and we don't have to be like everyone else. And when we're different and not like everyone else, most of the time you have more money, you're happier, and you have a better family. Just being honest, because every time people say they want to keep up with the Joneses, most of them are broke, they're miserable, they have a miserable marriage and have no money, and they're full of pills. Let's go to the winner of this month. For April, you know, we do a giveaway each and every month, and we want to be just thankful for all the time that y'all watch and devote to us. We sent out Mr. Earl Strainers from last month. It just went out about 2 weeks ago, so he should have it by now. But we want to make sure that we're always giving back. And again, it costs nothing for you to be entered into these giveaways. It's just a simple thank you from us to you. It's a random act. It's a random drawing. What we use is there's a spotlight part. I'm gonna cover up the names, but there's a little spotlight spot right there on our analytics, and it tells you know, who's commenting, who's liking, who's subscribed, and then what we do is we just take their numbers. Like for instance, this person up top has commented on the max 2,400 times. You're awesome. Thank you so much. This other person 1,600. This other person 2,600. This other person 1,500. So it tells us, and so what we do is just put that into a random drawing for the month. So we base on that for the month. And that's how we get the winner. So the more you comment, the more thumbs up you give us, and of course you being subscribed puts you into the drawing more. So the winner of today's video is Bama J. Bama J. Looks like she's been a subscriber for a while, commented over 100 times. So thank you, Bama J. Reach out to us. I think you're one of the first commenters on our videos just about every day. But you won, so email us through the link below, and and we want to get you something as a gift to say thank you for always being a supporter. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe. Remember to check out the other video, The Life of Colby Mack. We have a video coming up, not today, but maybe tomorrow, on kind of what the situation is with the fish. We talked to a marine biologist, and a lot's going on with our pond, but we'll discuss what he told us. We've got to keep an eye out because we're looking, if we find another one, they're actually going to come in, and we'll discuss all that in Life of Colby Mack's vlogs. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.